I woke up that morning with the sun already throwing knives of gold across the pasture, hot and dry as the Texas wind. By the time I took my first sip of coffee, I'd already decided I wasn't selling a damn thing. But I didn't know that by sundown, I'd be standing at my back gate with a shotgun in my hands, staring down two HOA agents crying in fear because that was the moment they finally learned what private property really meant. It started quiet, the way trouble always does. My name's Tom Drake, and my ranch sits right on the southern border of a place called Willow Ridge Preserve, one of those shiny gated communities where every lawn looks cloned and every mailbox has the same smug smile. I've got 400 acres that have been in my family since 1948. My daddy dug the ponds my mama planted the pecans, and I've been patching that same fence line since I could hold a hammer. That morning I heard tires crunching up my gravel drive. Folks don't just roll up my hill unless they're lost or stupid. A silver Mercedes G-Wagon pulled over the ridge windows black as sin. Out stepped two men in navy blazers and a woman whose heels could have melted in manure. She smiled like she'd rehearsed it. "Mr. Drake, I'm Karen Schilling, president of the Willow Ridge HOA. She said it like it was supposed to mean something. She told me she represented investors, said my southern acreage was the missing piece for their master-planned paradise, offered $1.6 million above market, all closing costs covered. I wiped my hands on my jeans and told her, "Lady, you could back a dump truck full of gold up this driveway and it wouldn't change a thing. This land ain't for sale." Her smile didn't move, but her eyes turned cold. "Think about it," she said. "Progress doesn't wait." "Neither do I told her and walked away. I figured that was the end of it. Big mistake. 2 weeks later, I spotted tire tracks near the back gate, fresh ones. Someone had tied orange survey ribbons inside my fence line. I cut them all down and tossed them on my workbench like dead snakes. The next morning, I sent my drone up over the ridge. Sure enough, a bulldozer from their side had cleared 10, maybe 15 feet onto my land. They were testing me, seeing if I'd bark or bite. That evening, my neighbor Rick came by hat in hand. Said the HOA was whispering about annexation, folding my land into theirs through the county. "Ain't legal without my consent," I told him. He just looked at his boots. Next day, I got a certified letter, thick paper, fancy logo, fake authority. They claimed my gun range was creating noise concerns and hinted at future zoning reviews. Then the line that made me laugh. Should you choose not to voluntarily join Willow Ridge Preserve HOA, the board reserves the right to pursue jurisdictional reevaluation. Translation: join us or we'll bury you in red tape. I called my lawyer, Travis McCaffrey, a Fort Worth bulldog in a suit. He said, "They're baiting you, Tom. Don't give them a reason to paint you as hostile." Too late. 2 days later, my trail cam pinged. 2 figures in neon HOA vests were walking my tree line, pointing lasers, taking selfies by my pond. I slung my old Remington and walked right up behind them, racked it once loud enough to stop time. "Morning, gentlemen," I said. "You planning a picnic because you're 600 feet into private land?" One stammered, "Sir, we're with Willow Ridge HOA. Routine inspection." "Not anymore," I told him. "You've got 10 seconds. They ran so fast they tripped over their own clipboard. By the time the sheriff showed up, I already had the footage ready. He watched it, shook his head. "They'll say you threatened them," he warned. "I never pointed it," I said. "Just reminded them whose dirt they were standing on." But Karen wasn't done. A week later, their Facebook page screamed, "Gun-wielding landowner terrorizes volunteers." That post spread like wildfire, and for a moment, even I wondered if maybe I'd gone too far. I sat on the porch that night, bourbon in hand, listening to the wind rattle the windows. Maybe it'd be easier to sell disappear, stop being the problem. But then I looked at that old sign my father nailed up in '72. "What's mine stays mine." I figured that was answer enough. Next morning I went digging through the barn archives, old metal cabinets, decades of dust. I was looking for one piece of paper proof that an old dirt road running south had been closed years ago. Took me 2 days and a busted thumb, but I found it county-stamped contract from 1996 ending the easement for good. My father's signature right there beside the commissioner's. I sent it to Travis. He nearly whooped. That same night I got an email from a local YouTuber, Jules Harper. He runs a channel about ranch life and small-town politics. I sent him everything: drone footage, trespass videos, Karen's letter. 3 days later, he posted, "This rancher's land is under siege by a greedy HOA." Within 24 hours, it hit 200,000 views. Karen's Facebook went dark, but the HOA doubled down. More letters, legal threats. Then came a message from someone unexpected. Brian Chester, former HOA board member, said, "You free to talk." We met at a gas station outside town. He handed me a flash drive full of internal emails. Turns out, Karen had signed a private deal with Hillridge developers before the HOA ever approached me. Promised them access to my land. Took a $75,000 advance through her real estate agency. That was the nail. Travis filed a motion for a temporary restraining order. HOA tried to cover it up, called an emergency board meeting, but the story had already blown up. A local mom blogger posted the receipts. By the time Karen showed up for the vote, half her board had walked out. A few nights later, a black SUV parked by my front gate, engine running, lights off. I stepped out, racked the Remington once under the porch light, and they left without a word. Then came the court summons, 30 days out, open hearing. For once, they'd have to play by real rules. The morning of the trial, I put on my only clean white shirt and the same tie I wore at my daddy's funeral. The courthouse steps were crawling with reporters and HOA supporters clutching "Protect Our Community" flyers. Travis met me at the door, calm as ever. "Ready to bury them?" he asked. Inside, Karen sat at her table in a powder blue blazer, smile tight as barbed wire. Judge Caldwell called the session to order. Travis started slow: property records, easement termination, drone footage. Then he hit them with the flash drive evidence: contracts showing Karen's agency as exclusive broker for Phase 4 of Willow Ridge on land still legally mine. Emails where she wrote, "Once that stubborn rancher gives up Hill Ridge Project's 35 luxury lots. Easy 7-figure commission." The courtroom went silent. Karen's face drained pale. Then came the witnesses. Brian Chester testified she'd funneled HOA funds into her private firm. Lacey Thompson, the blogger, confirmed she'd tried to spin public fear for profit. Finally, Jules Harper rolled in a projector video from an HOA meeting Karen thought she'd deleted. On screen, her voice echoed through the speakers. "This isn't about community, it's about future wealth." You could hear a pin drop. Judge Caldwell leaned forward. "Ms. Schilling," she said, "your conduct was not only deceptive, but predatory." She turned to me. "Mr. Drake, this court affirms your property rights in full and awards damages of $147,000 plus legal fees." The number didn't matter. The sound of that gavel did. Karen slumped in her chair, the last bit of polish cracking right there under the fluorescent lights. Outside, cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. I didn't say a word. I just walked to my truck, felt the first breath of clean air I'd taken in months. By the end of the week, Hillridge developers had canceled their partnership, and the HOA website still showed Karen's smiling face until someone hacked it and replaced her photo with a cartoon vulture holding a "for sale" sign. They say she moved out of state. I don't know, and I don't care. Back home, I replaced the old porch flag with a black one that read, "Not for sale, not for HOA, not for cowards." I don't feel like a hero. I just did what my father would have done, stood my ground. Because out here, lines matter. You let someone step over one without pushback, pretty soon they build a road through you. And I'll be damned if anyone ever builds a road through me.